Good morning YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Lekay Vlogs. So this morning, sorry lady, we've got an Opel, what is that, Opel Kadett. The car's quickly over the road. Let me just get it. So there's the car. So yeah, it has a, I think it was a blown radiator or bottle or something, so it was just that. But now I was wanting to go and fetch the car, and the car wasn't starting. Petrol light was on, but we threw in a bit of petrol, it wasn't starting. So I threw petrol in the intake, and the car took, and then realized that the pump is also not working. So I'm gonna just sort out the pump quickly so that I can bring the car over to finish up. So let me just take my tools quickly to remove the pump, take it with me over, and then when I get there, I'm making it sound like it's very far. Let me just grab my stuff quickly. So yeah, as I was saying, so I just want to remove the pump, and then once the pump is on and running, and drive the car over, and then I can carry on with the work here back home, because the car is standing on the neighbor's yard in front. So yeah, let me just show you quickly. Alright, so I found the problem why the car is not wanting to start. So it's not actually the fuel pump that's broken. They made a MacGyver on the fuel pump. Let me just turn the camera around now. So they made a MacGyver move here. As you can see, there's a pipey on. There's the pump, it obviously now goes onto the pipe. And then this is the original wire supposed to be. And then they just turned another sticky wire. Focus. Anyway, hopefully you can, there we go. So this wire they just turned on here, which is not even a quite connection, and then obviously on a lug, which is also broken off onto there. But with that being said, with the connection, the pump didn't really make proper contact. So when I put it in, obviously touched it and it worked. But my issue is this actually. They put it in like this, so it's obviously having a slant. As you can see, there's a, you can't really see. So it lays in the tank like that. Can you see the slant? Okay, maybe not to you. Turn the camera like this and you can see there's a slant. That makes the pump also lay on an angle, so it's not actually touching the fuel. So that's why the car basically stuck without petrol. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the, remove this thing, or maybe just hold on quick to remove the pump quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rubber pipe here, then I'm just going to push it further down and then basically let it lay on the tip. And same with the pump, I'm going to let the pump lay on the tip of the pipe. So essentially it's going to push the pump to lay further down. So let's say the pump should end about here. There where the pump would end. So now the pump would end like further down, which would make it lay further in the petrol. So that's what I'm going to do. So the fuel line is tight, the actual pump housing is tight. Now I'm gonna just put in the wire plug. Oh, that's what awkward. And I'm sitting awkward. I just ended the video now. But yo, I know why I'm struggling. Actually, I do know why I'm struggling. Okay, let's see if we have. Here we go. Pump is running. Now we can hear the pump. No fuel leaks. Okay, let's start up quickly. There we go. Great. Let me just take this off. Alright. Okay, it's not idling, but that you can check out again. There's nothing on the floor, so that's good. Check again here under the seat. So I didn't see anything. The light is off now. But okay, let me just close up here quickly. Don't need to close though. But then I'm gonna pull the car out and take it over to me. Okay, this is the car's door. Right back there. Put my stuff on the seat. You know, now I can just end this video and then start again when I'm busy. Alright. Take this. Okay, I'm gonna move the seat a bit forward. Not that tall. There we go, idling now. Okay. I really like this wheel of this car. Really. Lenzo, lightweight, 4.8 kilograms. That's nice. But yeah, I really love this wheel actually. I feel like we need more sun to give this. I feel like this wheel makes this car. So yeah, as you can see, we basically got the car running like in no time. Quick diagnosis. Yeah, so as I was saying, check it out, man. I'm not the Opel fan, but it looks nice. Bumper can do some work, but yeah. The guy of the car didn't even know that there's about the fueling, the pump problem basically. He just said that the car's actually here for the radiator. Just check this. Can you see? Yeah. I'll show you when I take it out. The car was in a knock, slight knock, and the radiator broke, so that's actually the problem. And then when he said that the car was driving and then stuck and didn't want to start again, obviously that was now the pump which you saw. So we're just going to
for e-sports.
what was I saying?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the pump is sorted, so now I'm just gonna remove the radiator, and then once it's out I'll show you how it looks. Alright, so the radiator is out, and here's the issue. The whole stick is broken off. Here's it in my hand. So that's the issue there. Here's a new one. Well, not new, but the replacement. Nice empty space now for radiator. Yeah, I can see a bent in here. Nose panel in front, still straight. A belt wear here. Sorry man. Some belt wear. Yeah. Timing belt is also which is slap. But yeah. So here we go. Good morning and welcome to another episode of Lekay Vlogs. So alright, so as you can see, the Opel is now idling, radiator's in, so now we're just going to let it get out to operating temp, so the thermostat can open up and the fan go on. Obviously do the checks now, everything, to make sure everything is okay, and then we can top it up with water, and then that's also good to go. So quick and kind of simple job. Obviously knowing what to look for makes it quick and simple. Like the owner initially thought he's stuck without petrol, and then he also said that no, it can't be petrol because he threw in. So hence why I'm saying somewhat of easy job, but also reason being why I say it's an easy job, you need to know what you're looking for. So yeah, I'll catch you guys again. But I can't also really say that because I'm in my, that car's basically there's a bus as you can hear. So yeah, although I don't think it's on the plugs, because as you're pulling the leads off, it's like dying down. So it's either that we must change all 4 plugs, but the car didn't come in for that. It just came in for the radiator, and it's not starting. So obviously we're gonna phone the customer, find out what does he want to do. So like I said, it's either all the plugs that it's not allowing it to rev up, because it's idling like it doesn't have a miss. But as soon as you rev, it's not revving clean. So it can be plugs that's dead, or it can be on the distributor cap. Now what that is, obviously just checking, as you can see there. He's just checking it out, and then obviously we'll get down to the conclusion and sort it out. So yeah. Okay, so we ran the car to operating temp, but the fan didn't switch on. So I pull the fan out now. Hello lady, say hello. Hello. So yeah, pull the fan out. So now I'm just going to plug it in quickly, straight to the battery I mean, and then check if it's working. So let me do that quick, and then I'll let you guys know. Cameras now, like I explained, cameras out, so I'm still using the phone, so I need both hands. So I'll get back to you with an update, and I'll see you now guys. It will probably be like split now and then. I think it was very unnecessary. So I've done a straight connection to the battery. Fan definitely works, as you can hear. Let me just straight connection into the battery. So yeah. Fan definitely works. So it's not the fan that's a problem. So now I put the fan back in the car, and then I know it's in, and then I can check if it's the fan switch or if it's wiring or what it might be. So let me just install the fan quickly back, and then we can see what the problem is. Yeah, so I made a balls up, but not as bad as it sounds though. The balls up is I didn't record because it was raining, and so I didn't want to still bother with the camera, like I explained in, I think it was the previous video. But anyway, besides the point, remember the Opel? I'm sure that I know that I explained what the problems was of obviously that being changing the radiator, and the car was not starting basically. So radiator is changed, which I showed you. Sorted out the problem with the fuel pump. That's the reason why it wasn't starting. And I'm not sure if I showed that the car had like a miss lady movement. So the miss wasn't plugs. It was actually on the sorry for my finger. So the miss was actually an injector. That's why I'm saying I made a balls up by not putting the camera on to show you what how I found that it's an injector. So obviously I don't know if you know how. Well, normally what you do is you pull plugs while the car's idling. You pull out 1, put it back, 2, put it back, then so forth until 4, and you would see when the car wants to die basically while pulling the plug. So if you pull out plug number 1, if the car wants to die, then you know, right, there's a problem in that cylinder, and you carry on with number 2, 3 and 4. So in this car's case it was number 1. So when you pulled out spark plug number 1, I mean the plug lead, then nothing happens. When you pull out number 2, the car dies. Same with number 3, number 4, the car wants to die. So obviously the problem was on cylinder number 1. So I took out the plug, put a new one in, still wasn't making a difference. Then I took the intake off and then started the car, and then took spray, flammable spray, so basically carb clean or anything that is flammable. And while the car was idling, I sprayed into the throttle body and I revved it, and then the rev was clean. So it was obviously a fuel starvation on cylinder number 1. So I removed the injector plugs and the injector rail, the fuel rail, and I pulled out the injector number 1, and I found that one had a problem. So obviously the problem is now sorted, and now just take a listen. Yeah. So now the car is revving clean, it's idling properly. I took it also for a drive and it's driving smooth, so everything is sorted. So now I must just turn the camera. So now I must just put this panel back, because we took it off because we were looking for a fan wire. Because as you can see there, the fan also didn't want to come on. So I'm actually still busy sorting out the fan problem. That's why I'm sitting in the car and letting it idle. So yeah, so like I said, I'm just gonna put this on, and I'm gonna let the heat gauge climb till operating temperature, basically off, and just a bit over, and then the fans should switch on, because there was a switch the camera again. As I was saying, what was I saying? There was a blown fuse, because I checked when I pulled the plugs for the fan switch. Basically all the fan related plugs I pulled and checked, bypassed the switches basically, and gave it manual, and like, how do I say now, like a manual test, in other words. Like I done with the radiator, it was a manual test straight into the battery, so the fan was working like I showed. I done basically the same thing with the switches. Unplugged the switch and then bridged it so that it can, what's the word I'm looking for? Never mind the word. So I done a manual test to see if the switches is the problem, and it wasn't. So I went to go and look for a fuse, and I found a blown fuse. Changed it. But now I'm checking if it was actually the fuse, so we'll see. The car's almost on operating temperature, as you can see there. I didn't feel like switching the camera. I'm flipping the camera from front to back. So yeah, I'm just also sitting here with the fuse box panel, and I'm going to just see which one is for the radiator fan. And then I'll just check if it is the fuse that I changed, if it is that one. So I'll get back to you now, guys. Because I'm using my phone to record, I don't have a tripod for it. The camera's inside, so yeah, I'll be back shortly. Alright, I had to switch the camera on a bit earlier. Can I turn this thing? So as you can see there, the heat gauge, well, it actually dropped already. The heat gauge was higher than that. It was just over half. Let me see if I can show you. So it was just over the halfway line, like there. Look, if you're looking at my nail, yeah, look at the nail. It was about there. And then I went to the front because I expected to hear the fan, but I didn't. So I came to the front, and sorry for the upside down view, but as you can see, the fan is on. So it was the fuse. You can see by this piece of tape here as well. So yeah. So the score is good to go. So like I said, now I just need to put this cover back, and then this car can leave. Look, where's the heat gauge now? I don't think this car's got the thermostat in. Because if that heat gauge is there, this fan's supposed to have switched off already. I can't tell if the fan is on or off now. Yeah, fan is still running. So that tells me that this fan, this heat gauge is going to want to heat cold before that fan switches off. So that means that fuse is going to pop again, because it's pulling a lot of current all the time. So it's going to wait until the heat gauge goes up again, switch on, and then as it's going down, it's going to want the water to be cold, basically, for the fan to switch off. So because it's doing that, because what if there was a thermostat in, it would heat warm, fan would switch on, thermostat would open, and then warm water. Let me switch the camera. So yeah, as I was saying, it's when it heats, the heat gauge heats to operating temperature. So basically halfway the fan would switch on and the thermostat would open. Then the water would circulate. The warm water in the motor will go to the radiator. The cold water in the radiator would go to the motor. And then once the cold water touches the thermostat will close, and then that warm water in the radiator will cool down, and the cold water in the motor will obviously now warm up, and then that's how the cycle will continue. But me looking at that heat gauge, it went to halfway mark, fan went on, and then when it came to 3/4 cold, the fan is still running. So that's telling me that there's no thermostat in this engine, because the fan is still running and the temperature came so low. A car doesn't run basically that low. I'm not saying you can't, but that's what the thermostat does. The same with my bakkie. I took my thermostat out and I've got my fan connected directly, so as soon as I start the bakkie, my fan is on and my water circulating. So I've basically always got cold water running through my motor. Not cold, because obviously the water is warm, I mean the motor is warm, sorry. But anyways, besides the car now, main point is that the car is done and the car can leave. So that's great news. Sure. And that will be a wrap for this video. So please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you have any mechanical work that you need to have done, engine ovals, head gas, blown head gasket, suspension and brake work as well, even gearboxes, by the way, I don't think I've mentioned that. So I'll leave my number in the description if you need it, and then you can just hit me up and I can give you a quote. So sharp guys, this will be a wrap. Peace out and be safe. Lakai Vlogs, I'm out.